think as a rookie, you get in front of the team, no matter how hyped you are, how much, where you're at in the totem pole, within the organization, you stand in front of the team, for the first time, you're a rookie, you're gonna feel those nerves and things of that nature, especially his first go around was not very good. To be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was, wasn't very good. He got up there, he did it, but I think he did something like John Legend's song. I think he did Ordinary People.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he did Ordinary People, and wasn't the greatest performance, but no, he got up there, he did it. I think we gave him another opportunity to do it. I can't remember.
What did you sing?
I sung Kanye West's Gold Diggers.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Good blocking on the perimeter, and that opens it up for Tyler Scott.
Welcome back, everybody. It is now season 2 of the Tyler Scott Show. We are so thrilled to be entering into the sophomore season for the esteemed second-year player out of the University of Cincinnati. Week 1 is upon us. The Tennessee Titans are on the horizon. But before we get to that, I want to let everybody know that the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is right at your fingertips in Illinois. The Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Illinois and experience high betting limits, better moneyline splits, more in-game betting, and the best customer service. Download the new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro anywhere in Illinois. And listen, if you or anybody you know has a problem gambling, please make the call to 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234. But once again, Circa Sports, the best sports book in Las Vegas, is coming to Illinois, and we are excited for that, and we are excited for the second season of the Tyler Scott Show. So without further ado, the man of the hour, the man who recently graduated from the University of Cincinnati. He is newly married. There has been a lot going on since last season. How is everything going for you right now?
Man, everything's going great, man. I've been enjoying, this past off season, up until now, training, off the field, preparing. So, a lot of things have been coming my way, in life. So I've been enjoying it.
How did you like the Hard Knocks experience? I thought, a lot of fans were on the fence, weren't sure how Hard Knocks was going to work out. I looked at it as a positive. How about you? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, honestly, it was cool. After, they started coming in, it was pretty, they were pretty regular. They did a pretty decent job of staying kind of out the way and pretty, unnoticed. I will say, we did kind of have some, have some aware of, when you're doing walkthroughs and stuff like that, you kind of see the cameras coming around like, hey, got the cameras around, so you might want to watch what you got to say. Or we would kind of let each other know, like, hey, we mic'd up, I'm mic'd up, so, watch out. Or even in the rooms, they had cameras kind of in the corner of the rooms. So you kind of noticed, you kind of didn't. So I think they did a great job of just kind of just allowing us to be us, kind of stay out the way. But for the most part, it was good. It was a good experience. I know a lot of people loved it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So.
Well, listen, you're a young man. You've grown up around cameras and the easy access to cameras. Yeah. It's nothing new to you guys. I think for so many people, anybody in your generation grows up around cameras, which was my always argument against anybody who said it was going to be a distraction. I'm like, you guys are used to it. You're all too familiar with having to watch your mouths and everything like that. I will say though, sometimes, being in studio, I got to be careful. I almost blurted something out because Patrick and I were talking on the show today, and I was about to say something that could have been maybe not inappropriate, but I probably shouldn't be saying this. I also got to be careful too, because sometimes we drag the NFL management while we're mic'd up. So we got to be careful making fun of the fact that little startup NFL media struggling for every crumb of money that they have. So don't want to say anything, too outlandish. So I get all of that. But listen, I'm excited for you. I think as I look at the Bears this year, now this is an exercise that I go through every season. I'm always excited. I'm always going to take the optimistic view. I always feel really good about it. How do you feel going into this? Don't lie to me. Don't lie. How are you feeling? Where's your confidence level right now on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got to be at a 10 this year. Going into the season. I mean, I'm super optimistic, super confident. Know what we have and what we build. And it's just not just me, but I think you could just feel it in the building. Just walking through, even compared to last year. Just I mean, from the top down, you could just feel it throughout the team, the chemistry, the energy, the vibe. You could just feel it throughout the team, throughout the locker room. So I think it's definitely something that to be excited about. Super optimistic. I think just seeing how well we dominate in the preseason now. Statistically, preseason really doesn't correlate with the regular season. But I think it does do a good job of showing just kind of the culture that you've set, what I'm saying, as far as just the principles and, the teacher principles that Coach Flus tries to, instill in the team and, just seeing guys, buying in, from, top down. And so I'm super optimistic about this year. And I don't see, with what we have, especially the group of guys that, Ryan Poles has brought in, it's no reason not to be.
I feel like last year I was hoping that we were going to be good. Now I would sit there and run my mouth and be like, no, we're totally good. But I feel like it's justified this year. Maybe I was a little too out over my skis last season, although the team still did win 7 games. So it wasn't like it's a complete disaster. But this feels more justified. Is that a good way? Not to drag anybody who's not here or anything like that, but it feels like the way the organization's been building over the last couple of years, and I know you've been a part of it the last 2, it just feels more justified. And I know you have nothing to really compare it to, but it does not feel like business as usual for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, to be honest with you, I feel like you should feel that way, as far as an organization that's been building, especially with somebody who, like Poles, who first came in and has been trying to build this thing, from the ground up, having to kind of tear the thing down a little bit to kind of rebuild it back up. I think you should feel that way each year, as far as the building process of getting to where you want to be. And so each year I feel like you should feel a little bit more optimistic than the year before, until we're, eventually hosting that Lombardi Trophy. So, like I said, I definitely feel even more optimistic than I did last year, just for myself and for the team. So I think that's, a good word to use.
Now that you've had a full summer with Caleb Williams and you've gotten to know him a little bit, obviously, being his teammate, do you remember those days when everybody was talking and stuff like, hey, like he might not even enter the draft. His dad says he doesn't even want to play in Chicago and all that. Yeah. Like, do you remember that stuff? And do you sit there and chuckle about it now? Because obviously it like that was the complete opposite of, at least from the outsider's perspective, of the way Caleb Williams has been handling his business.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really thought too much about, kind of that aspect of it. I know definitely, first, when you first got in the building, those things were kind of on your mind of like, you hear all these things, as far as the media outside, but me personally, I kind of wanted to have my own judgment. I didn't want to come in here and, he walks in the building. I'm like, oh yeah, well, they said this about him, so I'm going to go in with this perception. I wanted to allow himself to prove to me who he is, what I'm saying, and not go in with any preconceived notions. And so, in doing that, that allowed me to view him, his raw self without having any bias, in it. And so, in doing that, he's done, like I said, I mean, I mentioned this before. He's done a great job of just humbling himself and just putting his head down and working, man. He's such a great dude. He really is. Just his work ethic, how he communicates with guys. He's done a great job. I mean, he has, and you start to see it in the preseason, how he's grown. But it just, like I said, he's a great football player, but it's just even better because he's a really good person to work with. So, I haven't really thought about, back on those things now, but now that you mention it, it is funny that you don't hear those narratives anymore. It was all about the nails and there was all these different things. And so it's like, you don't really hear those things anymore. And I hear all the optimistic, type of stuff of like, oh, well, he's, like this player, he's like that player. He's, you're hearing all these things now, but, that's just kind of how, life goes. That's how people go. That's how media goes. But at the end of the day, like I said, I just love the way he's, at least as far as appearing wise, he's kind of drawing out the noise and he just put his head down and worked.
And I can tell too, when you did when the scene in Hard Knocks where he had to, and obviously you're in the room, he has to go up and talk about his signing bonus and all that stuff like that. Like it feels like I think at that point, if there was anybody who had any sort of negative perception about him, like it had to go away at that moment, because that just felt like such a cool, like for somebody like who obviously is making a lot of money, it felt like a real humbling experience for him.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think as a rookie, you get in front of the team, no matter how hyped you are, how much, where you're at in the totem pole, within the organization, you stand in front of the team, for the first time, you're a rookie, you're gonna feel those nerves and things of that nature, especially his first go around was not very good. To be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was, wasn't very good. He got up there, he did it, but I think he did something like John Legend's song. I think he did Ordinary People.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he did Ordinary People, and wasn't the greatest performance, but no, he got up there, he did it. I think we gave him another opportunity to do it. I can't remember, but no, definitely, I think it's definitely a humble experience. I know it was for me. It was kind of my little welcome to the team. So,
what was your song? What did you sing?
I sung Kanye West's "Gold Diggers."
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
It was a good one. I feel like when you're doing, stuff like that or doing songs like that in front of the team, you got to do something that kind of everybody knows, like something that everyone can kind of get into, everyone can sing. This year a lot of guys are doing like a whole bunch of slow songs and kind of like in their feeling songs of relationship. I don't know. I'm like, man, who's bringing in like all these soft songs, like. But it's just all fun though. It's all fun, guys getting up there doing their thing. It was some good performances though.
Oh my gosh. I can only like there was something again, Tyler, you're already starting to look at a generation that's younger than you. Like we're 2 years apart and then already doing that. If I would have came out there and sang like I'm trying to think of this. If I would have sang like Sabotage by the Beastie Boys, would you know that song?
No.
Listen, who was the guy in Pittsburgh? Romeo Wilson. He at least knows, because I met him over the summer, and I played in a celebrity softball game, and my walk-up song was Sabotage. And he goes, "Oh, did you pick this song?" And I go, "Yeah." And I'm like, and he goes, "Oh, this is really I like this song." And I didn't think about it till I left. I'm like, is this the first time he's ever hearing it? Like, it might be. Like, I know it's kind of a famous song to me, but it might be. And it just goes to show sometimes there's a little generational gap. But I thought some of the music choices were a little interesting, and not the way that I would have gone. But of course, I'm an old man, so that's fine. So music notwithstanding, with Caleb Williams, watching him in the preseason and watching him during the games, was there a point, whether you're on the field or on the sidelines, where you were watching him and you're like, oh my gosh, this dude is pretty good?
For sure. Sure.
What one stands out to you?
Oh, man. Honestly, it probably wasn't during the game. I could go so many different ways. I would say I think it was in practice. I want to say it was the Keenan Allen throw. It was going viral for a minute. Yeah. It was like Keenan, he toe tapped too. I think he was rolling to his left, because Caleb likes to roll to his left, which is ironic for like a right-handed quarterback. But he likes to roll to his left and, kind of does his like off-platform throw. It's like his signature. I think he honestly might prefer that than the regular pass. But yeah, it was like rolling to the left, and I don't know if like somebody was chasing him, but it's just the way he gets the ball out of I don't know. It's like you sit back and you watch and you look at your teammates like, dude, did he just throw that? Like, he threw that and it was like completed. He made another one. It was late in camp. He was rolling to his right. And he was like running like kind of backwards at an angle. Yeah. And I remember he ended up throwing it. He ends up completing the pass to Gerald, I think. And we're kind of standing back behind the offense. And so he's running back towards the offense because the defense is, coming through. And so I think it was D-Walk. I think it was DeMarcus Walker. He ends up getting through, and Caleb makes his throw. He completes it. And D-Walk, his like reaction was kind of like, dude, he threw that? Like, he was able to get that ball off? It was like even in the moment of him chasing, it was like, dude, how did he get that off? Yeah. And then one thing to me that I feel like stands out and kind of showed me how slow the game was for him was the attention to detail, like his ball security within the pocket. The ability to always keep two hands on the ball, with a pocket kind of collapsing on him, but kind of keep his eyes downfield. But yet he's still able to keep two hands on the ball, and he kind of like guides it away from defenders as he's kind of like eluding the pocket or moving outside the pocket. And just kind of getting to know him a little bit, just seeing when he's rolling out, I can kind of see him thinking, or like kind of see him. I can kind of see what he's thinking as he's playing, and I can see the game like actually being really slow for him. And I'm like, just by his body movements, it's hard to describe, but just by kind of like his body movements on the field, little things that he does, I can kind of tell that the game is moving a lot slower than what I thought it would be for the first time, being in the NFL. Now, like I said, we'll see when, like I said, game time truly comes. You got the starters out there. You're going against a number one, or a really good defense, all throughout a full course of the game. But even just starting off over the first couple games, just watching him play, I've just been so impressed with just the little details that he's displayed.
Yeah, and the play to you in the Cincinnati game, I thought was a pretty good one. How mad were you when that guy horse collared you? Like, what do you say something to that guy? Like, dude, I'm trying to. Like, this is preseason. Don't horse collar me in preseason. What do you say to that kid?
I mean, at the end of the day, what a DB coach or just within football rooms, they would say, "Oh, that's a good play," because he didn't allow a touchdown. So he was doing what he was honestly, coached to do in that situation. You get beat, you got a deep ball. The only thing you could do at that point is tackle the guy or somehow impede him from catching the ball. I was upset for sure. Definitely wanted it. What's funny is that Caleb came off the field and we were talking about it. He was like, man, he was asking like how far, away from it, I was for catching it and all these things. And we're just talking about the route and what we seen, pre-snap and how we kind of connected. Like, hey, we kind of knew like safety was sitting or the corner was sitting, safety was kind of, coming down. Like this is probably coming up. And so he's sitting there and he's like, yeah, well, I was honestly just waiting for you to get a little farther down the field so I could throw it. Once again, like that was something where I was like, okay, you got a defensive line rushing, at you, what I'm saying? Obviously, you're trying to loot the pocket and you're trying to get free. But it's like, you're like, oh, well, the game was moving so slow for me. Like, I was just trying to wait for you to get down there a little farther to throw the ball. Like, it's just little things like that to know, like, okay, that's how he's thinking. That was, to me, impressive, as far as just his thought process.
Yeah, I mean, all the things like when you see him in the post-game press conferences, the way he diagnoses his own plays without seeing the film has been probably the most impressive thing. And just hearing the conversation that you guys had coming off the field is also very impressive. I want to tell everybody, too, if you're into sports card collecting and you want to go pick up some Caleb Williams or some Tyler Scotts, at Windy City Sports Cards, they specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports, whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, or Sky. They've got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. So there you go. Make sure you get those cards and everything going. Listen, we don't have a busy week, so we're not going to keep you for too long here today, but I want to get to the game on Sunday. What should we expect? I know coming into this contest, a lot of people, like myself, when this schedule came out, I'm like, that's a dub. But this Tennessee Titans team is built pretty well. They've done a pretty nice job of building a solid roster there. I honestly, Jamie Erdahl on Good Morning Football said the other day that, this is a team that she's predicting to make the playoffs. I think they're a good team. What are we expecting from the Titans?
Yeah, we'll see. They definitely they gained some more talent as far as, they brought in Awuzie. I want to say they brought in Awuzie over there at corner. They also brought in Snead, who they just paid. Darius Snead, who he's very well respected around the league. Just paid him, brought him in. Then they got Jamal Adams, back there who's been doing it for a while, and he's pretty, what you're pretty much going to get out of him, in the box safety type of guy. And then you got Keandre Diggs, I want to say, out there as well, playing free safety. So, I mean, their back end looks really good. I know they just traded for, can't remember his name, but guy from the Rams. Right. Linebacker. I know he'll fit their scheme well, especially with the D coordinator. I want to say it's his first time calling plays because I know he was at Baltimore last year. Both guys, yeah. I want to say, and he was with Philly.
And they brought in, and Callahan hasn't called plays in the NFL either. So it's a first-year staff.
Yeah, so I think, it'll be interesting to see kind of, what happens. So you're going to kind of more so look at maybe some of the past things that he was involved in. Looks like Baltimore last year, a lot of too high safeties and then kind of rolled down, late, did a good job disguising some things, pressures as well. A lot of zero pressure, bringing guys. So like I said, we'll see, what happens and, how things play out. But honestly, we're just trying to play our game. And that's been something that Coach Flus over the past week has kind of echoed is, yeah, obviously you're facing an opponent and you're going against, another team, but, you're worried about really the mindset of like what we're trying to accomplish and what we're doing. And they're just the, nameless, faceless, opponent on the other side of the ball. So, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily what we're going to see from them, but, what you're going to see from us.
Yeah, we couldn't even think of Ernest Jones' name. That's how nameless they are now. I don't know why I kept thinking of Ernest Miller. And I knew that was wrong, so I didn't want to jump in there. But listen, I know you don't make predictions, so I'll make predictions, and you're not going to like this, but I'm picking the Bears to win. No, of course I'm picking the Bears to win. We're going to win this one. I know our producers are Titans fans, so they're biased, and they're tweeting out stuff like, hey, a rookie quarterback is never – I'm like, whatever. Like, none of that matters. None of this stuff in the history matters. Because this is a brand new organization, a brand new team, a brand new world. And I'm so excited. And I'm also excited that we're going to be spending another season together. It's always a lot of fun to chop it up with you. And again, I know we got kind of behind the eight ball here a little bit. So we're going to keep this a tight 20. But listen, I know that I say this every week, that we're together. This is the week you score a touchdown. Because everybody's talking about the big three. No, everybody's talking about Rome, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen. And I am going to be there at Rip Beer Company on Sunday. And when you score the first touchdown of the game, it's going to get lit. And I'm going to be buying beers for everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to get after it.
For sure. Should be a good day. I mean, rightfully so. Those are three great guys, great receivers.
Great guys.
Yeah, great guys, great receivers, man. But
you get mad. You get mad when you see me talking to Roma Dunze. Were you kind of side eyeing me a little bit? Because I didn't mean to do anything weird. I just part of my job. I got to talk to Roma Dunze too.
No, Rome's great. Rome. I mean, listen, Rome's a great dude. Trust me. I would understand gravitating towards Rome. So yeah, no hard feelings here.
All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to a great season. Look forward to seeing the Bears take a victory on Sunday. So until next week, he's Tyler. I'm Adam. Bears are going to win. And Sammy, go ahead and play us out and bear down.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcast. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.